None was not enough. The Dosier Russian NGO has discovered another, already the 10th yacht built for Vladimir Putin. This is a 71-meter Victoria ship worth more than $50 million. It sails accompanied by a 38-meter Orient boat. They started building Victoria back in 2005 at the Sevmash defense plant and launched it only in 2019. Both vessels are registered to the company of Putin's friend Gennady Timchenko.
Now Victoria is in Istanbul at the Desan shipyards. This is an unusual company that not only carries out civilian orders, but also builds warships for NATO and can work with secret documentation of the alliance. We can explain Telegram channel right.
It is not only the forever president who likes yachts. Photos of Putin's alleged lover Alina Kabaeva and her entourage surfaced on social networks. They show her against the backdrop of the Victoria and Scheherazade yachts. And while the so-called Russian elite continues to live richly, ordinary citizens often do not know how to afford a basic basket of food.
You need to understand how bad is the situation in the Russian economy. A situation where two government departments, the central bank and the Ministry of Finance, are working against each other. In order to suppress inflation, the central bank raises the rate, but then the Ministry of Finance expenses increase. And we see that people react to this, that now the issuance of mortgages has fallen by 20% because it is becoming expensive. People are starting to abstain from purchases of goods, and this will lead to fewer orders for the production of consumer goods.
Let us remind you that currently the assets of Russians under sanctions amounting to more than $58 billion are frozen, and in early September of this year, the United States transferred to Ukraine the seized assets of Russian oligarchs for the first time. We are talking about almost $5.5 million, which were confiscated through the court from Russian billionaire Konstantin Malafeyev.
For the first time, we are transferring to Ukraine assets seized from sanctioned Russian oligarchs, which will now be used to support Ukrainian military veterans. Antony Blinken, United States Secretary of State, during a visit to Kyiv.
However, at the end of February and beginning of March last year, some Russians still managed to take their yachts to Turkey, the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Sea and Southeast Asia. Thus, there are 6 Russian super yachts in the United Arab Emirates alone.
But even despite the war and the increased difficulties with owning yachts through foreign companies, Russians still prefer their maritime transport to be registered in foreign jurisdictions. If the owners need to use the vessel in Russian waters, they have to arrange temporary importation under a bareboat charter agreement. Every year, the temporary import of at least 30 yachts worth more than $3 million is issued to the country. Verstka publication writes.
In total, since the beginning of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine, the United States and EU countries have seized 21 yachts of Russian billionaires. However, only 17 vessels are in the status of frozen assets because 3 yachts were illegally removed from the ports. We are talking about the yacht El Dabra of the owner of Uralchem Group Dmitry Mazepin and Irina Viyu of Alisher Usmanov. The 3rd yacht was sold at auction. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.